The big story in Action News this Sunday night is still developing. Chopper 6 HD is live over Philadelphia City Hall, where some Occupy Philadelphia protesters have been packing up their tents and leaving. On Friday, Mayor Nutter gave the protesters 48 hours notice that they have to leave Dilworth Plaza so a $50 million renovation project can begin. As you can see, there are still a lot of people down there, some protesters and some tents are still there, although most of them have been moved out. There's not nearly as many as there were yesterday. The protesters began moving out earlier today. Now, this was the scene an hour ago when the deadline came. Many of the protesters had dismantled their tents and makeshift shelters. Some remained. Their demonstration began back on October 6th. That was 52 days ago. And this, of course, was an offshoot of the Occupy Wall Street protest in Manhattan. Now, Kenneth Moten and Dan Cuellar are live on the scene there at City Hall. Kenneth, the protesters held a sit-in, and they compared themselves to our founding fathers.
And Rob, they say they are sparking a revolution, which is starting tonight. Take a look at the scene behind me right now. People have actually gathered on this corner to see all of this unfold. Take a look across 15th Street, and you can see a large crowd of Occupy Philly protesters who started to sit on the steps of Dilworth Plaza just about an hour ago here at the corner of 15th and Market Streets. People came out here because they wanted to see the clash, or the possible clash, between occupiers and police. Well, this was the scene right at 5. The eviction deadline hit and protesters were still occupying this space. In fact, they staged a sit-in with about 4 rows of 20 people. They have been rallying in that space, shouting out instructions and trying to figure out what's next for them. Well, it looks like what's next is protesters plan to sit here in Dilworth Plaza for as long as it takes. Not something Mayor Michael Nutter wants to hear after he gave the group a 48-hour notice to vacate Friday. Some of the occupiers are dressed for a confrontation with bandanas and goggles. That most likely will not happen. The city has been determined not to be another Oakland or New York City, where we have seen the images of police clashing with the people in this movement. Many here say they're not leaving because they want to keep fighting for the less fortunate, including the homeless. As we come back out here live, as I said, there's a growing crowd of people watching the Occupy Philly movement right here at the corner of 15th and Market. I can tell you that right at 5, we just saw just a horde of people come out here and sit right here at these steps wanting to see what was happening. Now, Mayor Michael Nutter has been briefed on this situation that has happened out here. I've also seen police, deputy police commissioners and the police commissioner, Charles Ramsey, out here monitoring what is happening out here. We will be right here. Right now, it seems very peaceful, and we're just keeping an eye on things. Reporting live here in Center City, Kenneth Moten, Channel 6, Action News.
Kenneth, thank you.
This is what democracy looks like.
A 5 p.m. deadline to leave Dilworth Plaza in Philadelphia came and went Sunday with no arrests and no signs of violence. Sunday evening, many of the Occupy protesters were still there, and so were many of their tents. Some demonstrators packed up earlier in the day. However, others did not.
We're standing in solidarity with every other Occupy who has been evicted, and they're standing in solidarity with us. We have Occupy Wall Street here, Occupy Oakland.
A police presence at the plaza, heavier than usual, but no orders to leave have been issued. The scene was far different from other Occupy encampments, where police have stepped in to remove protesters, sometimes by force. Sunday evening, there was hope that the demonstration in Philadelphia would remain violence-free.
There are no plans imminent right now. I mean, they've just been told that, their 48 hours notice was up, and that was done on Friday, so that expired at 5 o'clock today. Kind of peaceful out here, no big deal, uneventful.
Philadelphia's mayor has expressed support for the movement's ideals, but has told protesters they must evacuate the plaza to make room for a $50 million construction project. And Sunday night, a spokesman reiterated that people are under orders to move. The city has issued a permit to a faction of Occupy Philadelphia, allowing them to keep protesting across the street. But the hours there are restricted, and overnight camping will not be allowed. Brian Thomas, The Associated Press.